Pirates of the Caribbean, the one with a lot of real-world history.
This is the intro, bitch. So just watch my shit.
And that's what we're talking about today, Pirates of the Caribbean 3 at World's End. Before I tell you who's in this movie, I want to tell you something about my life with this movie. I love pirates. I have poured way too much time into the history of pirates. I just dropped my notes. I have a few books on pirates. I love pirates. So when I watch this movie, I notice all the real life shit that actually happened in history that's in this movie, and it's really fucking cool. And I'm gonna tell you all about that shit. One more thing before I tell you about the cast. This was the first movie where I gave my family computer aids so I could go on online forums and talk about this movie before it came out. And I remember sitting in my family's kitchen, because that's where our computer was, for hours on end looking for things on this movie because I was obsessed. As I said, I'm obsessed with pirates, and I'm obsessed with the Pirates of the Caribbean, and let's fucking talk about it. Pirates of the Caribbean at World's End stars, of course, the amazing Johnny Depp as Captain Jack Sparrow. We love Jack. It also stars, I'm gonna do a twofer here because these two are amazing, Orlando Bloom and Keira Knightley as Will Turner and Elizabeth Turner, respectively. Keira Knightley is so fucking sexy. I still have a crush on her. And of course, returning to the role of the amazing Cutler Beckett is Tom Hollander. Cutler Beckett isn't in this movie as much as I would want him to, but he is still 15 flavors of fun. He is cartoonishly evil, and I fucking love it. Another person who doesn't get much screen time in this movie, unfortunately, is Bill Nighy as Davy Jones. However, there is one scene in this movie that makes me laugh so fucking much, and it is this one. How did they get him into that thing? They had to pick him up. And we have, returning to his role as Captain Barbossa, Jeffrey Rush. I love that man. He has so much fun with this role, and it's great. What happens in At World's End? Well, strap in, get a thing of popcorn, maybe a soda, because we're going to be here for a little bit. Let's go. Right at the beginning, part of real world history, there is a mass hanging of pirates, and they also hang a child. They hang a child. They hang a child. They hang a fucking child. The pirates start to sing as their form of rebellion, which also happened in pirate history. Jack is suddenly, out of nowhere, a pirate lord, which was a real thing in history. There was a council of pirates, and there were 9 pirate lords who had what they called pieces of 8, but in the movie, they're just little tokens that kind of explain, like, hey, we didn't have pieces of 8, so we just had whatever we had in our pockets. That name's not going to catch on. But yes, there were 9 pirate lords that had little tokens. But Jack is a pirate lord suddenly, and they need to get Jack back because the council is convening. Also, they need these pieces of 8 for a certain ritual that I'm going to talk about later. So yes, they do go to Davy Jones' locker. They get Jack back. Jack is kind of out there. Well, more than usual. He is seeing different versions of himself. They're all part of the crew. It's like the tale of 50 Jacks. And I do like the way that Davy Jones' locker looks. It's just a vast array of nothing. There's these crabs that actually look like rocks that use their mass numbers, I guess, to float the Black Pearl from the sand dunes into the ocean, because Davy Jones' locker is apparently a real place that is connected to the ocean. I am so bugged by the fact that they don't actually say whether or not this is a real physical place. But on the way back, they see a bunch of lost souls that aren't in the care of Davy Jones. And that's how they find out that Elizabeth's dad died off screen. And when they bring this up out of nowhere, because the scene comes out of nowhere, and Disney wasted their Jonathan Pryce. So at this point, we are an hour and 15 minutes into the movie, and the plot finally comes together. You don't need to take an hour and 15 minutes to set up your movie. Before they leave for Shipwreck Cove, Beckett finds Jack, and then they talk. And yes, everyone knows the scene that is amazing where Jack says people aren't cargo. Beckett and Jack talk about how they know each other, and the big story is that Jack was supposed to be transporting a bunch of slaves. He felt bad about it, decided to free them, and Beckett in revenge sank the Pearl, and that's how Jack made the deal with Davy Jones to get the Pearl back. That's why the Black Pearl is the Black Pearl, because it's burned and blackened and, dead. This part in history is where things get a little spotty, because after this council that happened, the pirates kind of died off, because there was a big battle that happened, which is vaguely hinted that it's the battle in this movie, where pirates just kind of died off after this. This is kind of where the pirates died out after the big pirate council meeting. But at the pirate meeting, Elizabeth is named king of the pirates because they don't all want to go to war, but Jack's like, hey, let's have a vote for a king. And instead of voting for himself, Jack is like, hey, I'm going to vote for Elizabeth Swann. So not only is she a pirate lord, but she is now king of the pirates. And she's like, dude, the East India Trading Company is taking over. We're going to fuck these guys up. We're going to war, bitch. And so yes, in the final hour of this movie, shit gets awesome. Elizabeth gives this epic war speech. It's one of those like, we're gonna die today and it's gonna be awesome speeches. I'm kind of jumping all over, but right before the speech, there was out of nowhere this reveal that Tia Dalma is the goddess Calypso. So they lit her out of her bonds. That's the ritual I was talking about. And she like fucks up the weather. When the battle starts, there's a big thunderstorm and like a maelstrom. You have Jones fighting Jack on the top of the mast. There's this moment where Jack actually like grabs onto a rope, swings around with his gun and shoots Jones. It's fucking awesome. It's one of my favorite scenes in the movie. This bit on the Pearl where Barbossa marries Will and Elizabeth on their boat. That part was really cool. It's really sweet. And they're also fighting in tandem with each other while they're giving their vows. That part is awesome. Will gets onto the Dutchman and fights with his dad because his dad has dementia and is trying to kill Will. Elizabeth eventually fights with Joan on the Dutchman. Davy Jones see that Will and Elizabeth are in love. He has Will up point and just stabs him in the heart. Yeah, Will dies. So with the help of Jack, Will stabs the heart of Davy Jones. Davy Jones dies. The storm from Calypso clears up. Beckett sails in on his ship. The Dutchman rises from the dead with Will at the fucking helm. The Dutchman and the Pearl are on either side of Beckett's ship, and they fuck him up. There's this epic scene where Beckett's ship is being fucked up, where it's all slow-mo, and he's walking down the stairs. He's like, dude, I'm gonna die. I don't care. So yes, Beckett dies. Will becomes captain of the Flying Dutchman. He can't touch land except for once every 10 years. And then Jack gets on a little boat and he's using the charts that he stole from Barbossa, and he sees the Fountain of Youth, and that sets up the next movie. Is this movie too long? Yes. Is this movie really overly convoluted with way too many plot points? Yes. But that is part of the charm of these movies. And I will say that Pirates of the Caribbean at World's End is good enough.
Yeah, I mean, I guess it was good.